Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Did You Pack Snacks, a family travel podcast. Here is my beautiful, beautiful wife, Megan.
Hey.
And me. Talk about me.
Oh, and my handsome husband, Colin.
Hey. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, man. Here we are, another week, another episode where we chat all things high, all things low, and the long miles in between of traveling with kids.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And this week, we're going to chat about one of my favorite things in the world, which is favorite places to go. 5 best places to go in the fall, which is my favorite season.
It's your birthday.
I wasn't even going to go there.
Okay.
But to all y'all out there, fall birthdays, hey, it's the best season to have a birthday. Am I right? Great. I'm talking to a camera.
You are right. Well, let's start off. How was your week? I feel like it's been a while since we've done this, so that just means that it was a long week.
I think it was a great week because I feel like 2 things. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel a little bit lost in life when you don't have a show to watch, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And, in the spring, we were like deep into Ted Lasso. We finished Survivor. And then I was just like, man, what else is there to do past 8 o'clock at night?
Oh, I'm tracking now.
And then now, I don't know if you guys watched. I'm sure a lot of people know this show, but I have just started season 2 of The Bear. I just finished season 1. And boy, am I a happy man to have that show.
Yeah, you're loving it. I haven't seen an episode yet.
I don't think you like it.
Really?
It's intense. It's like, imagine you're in a kitchen and everyone's just yelling at the top of their lungs.
You're probably right, because you know what I've been watching?
What?
It's called The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's a TV show.
No, correction.
Taken from a book.
You haven't been watching it just by yourself. You invite your friends, and I am a part of that club.
Yeah, but it's more like my pace. I like the romance, the lightheartedness, though I will say this week's episode was a little too cheesy, but I'm hoping they circle back and give us some good content again next week. But I'm really loving that show. It's on Amazon Prime.
Which episode are you referring to? Season 2, episode 4?
Yeah,
the one where they're at the fair.
Yeah, it was a little cheesy for my liking.
It's the first upbeat episode, and it's almost like they got awkward because they didn't know how to have fun and be kids again.
Yeah, the storyline has been pretty serious up until this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a good TV show too. So The Bear is your recommendation.
Yeah, if you love Michelin star restaurants and people coming from the bottom, making it to the top, finding hidden money in tomato sauce cans and all just the drama and the back and forth, but then also the endearingness of people that are not trained kitchen staff becoming part of the family and having family meals. The Bear is for you.
Wow, what a commercial.
And if you like family travel podcasts, this one is for you.
That's true. If you're listening, we're so happy that you're here. And you can go ahead and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or on YouTube, subscribe, share with your friends. We'd appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I've been looking at the analytics.
Yeah.
And, we are hosting this on Spotify, but a lot of our listeners are actually Apple Music people. And you know what those people could do?
They could leave a review.
It would be so nice if a lot of y'all wanted to just chime in. A couple words would be nice. For example, give me an example review, Megan.
Wow, great podcast. Love listening on my way to work or while I'm doing the dishes. Lighthearted, fun, cheerful, a few tips, but mostly just here for the entertainment.
A podcast that the whole family can listen along to on the way to work and school.
I love this podcast.
Even if it was just that, we would greatly appreciate it. We are a small podcast trying to grow, trying to unite all the moms and dads. That is our goal. And so that would help us a long way. Okay, but I never got to ask you how was your week, Megan?
My week was great. You want to know why?
Because mine sounds like I sat on the couch all week.
I know. I'm going to really show you up right now.
Okay.
I have been feeling so strong lately, and I just wanted to celebrate that.
Hey.
You know, I've been showing up at the gym. It's a little bit of hard work. Anybody who goes to the gym knows you just like half the work is just getting dressed and putting your shoes on. But this morning,
Even if you did just that, I would applaud you.
I arrived early before I met up with a friend, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do in this 30 minutes? I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can run a couple miles. And I thought to myself, who am I? Because that is just not something that I would have done a year ago. So anyway, cheers to growth and meeting milestones and feeling strong. I like all of those things, and I'm pretty proud of myself.
I mean, I will say you are almost into a full year journey, which once you're ready to talk about it and dive deep into it, I'm sure it's going to encourage so many people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been slaying. You've been
Thanks.
slaying.
Thanks, babe. So
And
anyway,
you're my hero and my inspiration.
Thanks. What a tender moment.
Now enough of this chit chat. Megan, let's jump into Ask the People because we got a lot of great responses. You told me I kind of skimmed.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to go through all of these. And what was the question again?
Yeah, so we did an Ask the People segment, which is where we ask a question on Instagram. We encourage anybody watching or listening or following along to answer and give us some tips. We're asking just a travel-related question. So
I wish we had a jingle.
that would be an Ask the People jingle.
Yeah.
We should get on that.
Ask the people. Bum, 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 bum. That's just, I want candy.
I almost, if you're watching on YouTube, I like went to snap, but I don't really have the best rhythm, so I thought I would ruin it. So I just let you take that solo.
Okay.
But I liked it. All right. The question this week was, what is the most unusual item you pack for every trip? Something that most people leave behind, but you find to be essential. Before we get going, can you think of anything?
I honestly don't.
You're really boring.
I honestly do not have any weird things.
Yeah.
Maybe I do. Maybe I have to look through my carry-on, but it's pretty basic. I'm all about, do I have my passport? Woo, good. And then the trip also doesn't happen if I don't have my camera gear.
Right.
And so if that's good, we're set.
Well, and then of course snacks.
Right. And because I learned this from my dad, he loves to, when he goes on a trip, he packs the shirt and underwear that has holes in them. He's like, I'm going to wear the worst because I just love shopping when I get to a new place.
So then when he gets there, he's like, these clothes are just not nice.
No. He doesn't even have to say it. He knows that he's buying all new stuff.
When he goes on a trip.
Yeah, and I think I have subconsciously taken that upon myself. And because I just love getting clothes, especially like if we're going to Europe or Asia, they just have different clothes, a different flavor.
Yeah.
So I'm just all about that.
You get there ready to shop.
Yep.
So your tactic is bring nothing, buy everything.
Exactly.
All right. So here are some things that people sent in. Okay. Somebody brings trash bags. So they always have,
I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My husband packs his Xbox, not even the slim version. He has a problem.
Bro,
LOL.
Get the Switch, man. Well, I get it. If for all you gamer folks, if you're Xbox, you play Xbox games and you don't play Switch or you don't play PlayStation. I get it. But that is a commitment.
Okay, here are some practical things. An extension cord. We've had multiple people that said an extension cord, which is true.
I actually do bring that.
That's true, you do.
Yeah.
A heating pad because hotels can be cold.
Ooh, that is a good tip. I do bring the extension cord. It's not too unusual. The heating pad, I would say that is a pro tip.
That is a pro tip because there are, especially in staying in a hotel, it is always cold.
Yeah.
And just being able to snuggle up.
Right. I think for me, my version of the heating pad is just I always have to pack one hoodie and I always have to get my long socks. I think that's my strategy. Why are you laughing?
I don't know, because that's just clothes. We're asking for unusual items and you're like, well, I bring something to wear.
I didn't just say socks. I said long socks.
Okay. Somebody said if we aren't flying, that they bring their coffee pot every time for a road trip.
Like coffee maker? What does that mean?
It just says coffee pot. But I can see, because if you've got like a rhythm down, I mean, when we go places, a lot of times we'll bring the, what's it called?
The French press.
The French press.
That's what we did this last time for the beach thing in 30A.
Yeah.
We have in the past used our Nespresso. we are Nespresso people.
Right, but sometimes I get it. When you're going to like an Airbnb or a hotel and they have K-Cups, but they don't provide any, then you're like, well, I'm not going to go buy a 20 pack of K-Cups for my 3 days at this hotel. So then we found just to bring the French press. Why is that so hard?
And then we do the drive-through at Starbucks and have them grind, a new bag of beans.
Right.
But I respect people bringing their own coffee because, man,
it's a commitment. You're committed.
I can survive on coffee alone.
All right. This person said, a packable laundry hamper. There is nothing worse than a dirty pile of clothes on the entire trip.
That's a good one. Although I saw this travel tip yesterday. Mm-hmm. I follow Samantha Brown. If you guys grew up in the 90s, you might have seen her on TV. She does, she used to do a show for PBS, BBC, but she actually said to bring a compression bag, not on the way there, but use it on the way back for your dirty laundry, because you guys might encounter this at the end of your trip. It's almost like you're...
Stuff it in there.
Yeah, your clothes just expanded and you can't fit anymore. And it's dirty. So you want to just compress that, put it to the side. And I think that's what I'm going to start and do.
Well, this you can add to it because it goes hand in hand with laundry. They said they bring dryer sheets to put in between each outfit to keep them fresh in case they have to rewear. That feels next level to me.
I'm starting to do that.
Like in a smart way. Because a dryer sheet doesn't take up any space. Mm-hmm. So just throw a few in your bag and your clothes are always going to smell fresh.
I'm doing that.
You're doing that. How many more do you want me to read? We have so many.
Give us a handful more.
Okay. Butt wipes. You never know the quality of toilet paper where you're going.
Amen. Such a small purchase with high dividends.
True.
Yeah.
Or fingernail clippers, another one that submitted, why do I always need these every time I'm traveling?
That's true. I do pack those.
Well, it's kind of like when you're thinking about all of your bathroom essentials, I always try to whittle it down. I try to whittle down medication, try to whittle down things like fingernail clippers. Or one time I needed nail polish remover and I was so annoyed that I needed it and we weren't at home. And of course I don't bring that on a trip. So I had to go buy it.
Because you whittled down.
Because I whittled down. Are you laughing at that word?
It's one of those words that once you say it 3 times, you're like, is that even a word?
I'm not sure.
Whittle.
Is it a word?
Whittle.
Kind of sounds like whittle, but like...
Yeah, you just want to whittle down your toilet essentials.
Anyway, I find myself every time I minimize
whittle
the things that I bring, especially when it has to do with toiletries, I end up buying them somewhere. So just bring it all. That's my tip. Bring it all.
Bring it all.
Okay.
You bring one. You have one of those foldable toilet things that once we get to the hotel, it just goes.
Yeah, and it kind of just, it's from Amazon. It's the best. It just opens and in all of its glory. It has everything you need.
Are you going to put it in the show notes?
Sure, I'll put it in the show notes.
Great.
I think it's like $17.
Great.
This person said, duct tape. I'm convinced it can solve all of the problems. I always find myself needing it. And super glue for the same reasons as the tape, but maybe I just break a lot of stuff.
I don't know. That's kind of sketchy. Going to TSA, going, why do you have super glue and duct tape?
I did see someone use packing tape on, there was like a TikTok or a reel that I saw.
We talked about this previous episodes.
Okay, as one of the things to bring on a plane.
As like a toy for kids.
Right. This is like damage control, which I can't say that I've ever personally encountered that much damage that would be solved with duct tape.
Yeah.
Though I can see that it's handy.
Yeah. I mean, this person might own exclusively do hiking trips to Alaska.
Maybe.
And for that reason, way to go.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Use that duct tape.
Yeah.
Somebody said a bathing suit. Learned one time when I missed being able to float in the Dead Sea because I forgot a bathing suit. So that makes the bag every time.
Wow. I think I would have just gone in my clothes.
Maybe she did. But it also just reminded her.
Yeah.
that she always needs to pack one. Okay, I've got the last one for you that's just going to make you giggle.
I hope it's the one that I'm thinking about.
A portable bidet.
Yes.
Never travel without it.
First of all,
What is a port? I
are,
mean,
are
I
we
know,
allowed to share who shares these posts?
No, it's all anonymous.
Can I break the rule just one time?
No.
To give a shout out?
No.
Okay, you know who you are, and I only have respect for you, bro.
Bro.
It's a male.
Well, I'll just say, like, I get the hype behind a bidet. I do.
We used to have one.
Yeah. Well, then we moved and we never, like, bought another one.
We rented our house out, and then I felt weird that our
Yeah, it's definitely
tenants.
not something that you share.
Right.
Right. But I've never seen a travel one, so I'm very curious what that is like. We might have to look into it.
Remind me to buy one as soon as we're done recording.
Okay. Maybe. We're probably not going to do a review on that. So if you're curious, just look it up on Amazon, read their reviews.
No. Yeah. But I want a permanent bidet. And then I'm going to do a lot of research on this portable.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was fun. That was
fun.
so many things, so many unique things. I think that my big takeaways were I agree with having the laundry hamper. I feel like I always like to have a place for dirty laundry to go. And that would make it really easy to go to a laundromat if you actually had something to carry it in. And then my second tip that I'm taking away from this are the dryer sheets.
Oh, the dryer sheets.
Yeah. Sometimes, especially if you're like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into a trip,
Yeah.
nothing smells fresh anymore.
No.
So you just need a simple way to,
Man, thank you for all the responses. Thank you for answering to Ask the People. Always love that segment. And if you have a suggestion for a future Ask the People, also don't be afraid to let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, as on episodes in general, but specifically if you're just looking for some tips, we can poll the audience and get some good ones.
Yeah, like I said, man, this is all about the moms and dads and the folks that just love travel. So if you got something, let us know.
Right.
Megan, kick us off with today's episode.
So today we're going to talk, I'm excited because as you kind of let in, fall is like a favorite season around here.
Yep.
Maybe the favorite season. I mean, aside from Christmas, but that's just like a month. I don't appreciate winter. I just like the 30 days of December. Come January 1st, I am over the cold.
I think I'm okay with spring, summer, fall, Christmas.
And then from
spring.
January to March, it's like the dark days.
Right, which is why we went to Mexico
I know, we needed
we
sunshine.
escaped. And so like I can't wait to plan our escape this
We
year.
need a dark days trip because those months are so long and cold and everyone's sick. Okay, so back to the fall. We love the season. We're excited to explore this year, but we thought it would be fun to pick 5 destinations anywhere in the world that are the best to explore during the season of fall. And we wanted to share them with you.
Yep.
So I know you've got a list.
I've got a list.
You want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. I'll take us a little far away.
Okay.
How about a little place called South Africa?
Fun.
I know we're going a little non-traditional here. We'll get to the fall foliage, people. Don't worry. We'll bring the fall colors back in. But South Africa, let me start by saying it's in a different hemisphere. Mm-hmm. So if you actually want to go there in the fall, you're not going to go there in like October. You know, you're going to go there in like April or May.
Okay.
And it's milder temperatures. And there are also direct flights now from the U.S. You can
Nice.
fly Delta, you can fly United. So it's a little far, but it's kind of easy to get to. And let's just talk about South Africa and Cape Town for a second.
There are penguins.
Babe, I'm just going to get there.
Well, I'm just excited about the penguins.
You got to start in Cape Town first, and then
Okay.
we'll get there.
All right.
But I'm excited too.
Okay.
Like, I know.
You can go on safari.
No, that's after the penguins. You got to get to Cape Town first.
I'm just interrupting you on
get
purpose.
to Cape Town and it's just buzzing with food and culture. You want to go and experience a braai. Do you know what that is?
Tell us.
It's basically you tailgating. It's basically food on the grill and all kinds of cuisines, all kinds of game meat that you probably have never tried before. So you want to go to a braai. They have good coffee. I don't know how. I need to do more research on that. But everyone that goes to South Africa just loves the coffee there. So you start in Cape Town. You go to all your tourist spots, your cool neighborhoods, your museums. A lot of history there, right?
The views I've seen are really beautiful. There are mountains that surround the city.
Right.
You're right on the coast.
It's called Table Mountain, and you can take a tram all the way up, a cable car, and the views are insane. Our friends Jared and Alicia are actually there right now. Look them up, Nomadasaurus. They are probably the number one travel bloggers in Australia.
The history of the world. I mean, let's be
You're
real.
right. In the universe. I'm not even kidding. But yeah, Jared and Alicia are there right now, and so they started in Cape Town, and then they made their way. I'm just narrating their trip, but go follow them. You'll see this all in stories. But from Cape Town, then it's also known for their beautiful coastlines, wineries, families with kids. I'm sorry, we're just not going to any wineries, so I'm skipping that part. And then you can get to Boulders Beach, where you can find
the penguins.
Oh my gosh. There's actually a show on Netflix. And you can see, I mean, imagine a beach that's not like Antarctica. It's not like icebergs and all that. It's just a beach.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
And there's the African penguin, a whole colony there. And in their stories, these penguins are just like moseying along the beach on the boardwalks.
Aww.
And they're just cute. And then even on the way to the beach, like you park your car and like, oh, there's a zebra. Oh, there's some ostriches. And so it's just
so much wildlife.
Right. It's just cool. And then from there, you kind of want to pair it with like a safari to Kruger National Park. Or if you love cities, I mean, Johannesburg is bumping apparently. So if you're a city person, you can go to Johannesburg. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but what my recommendation was just to do Cape Town because I just love nature. So if you're a nature person like us, go to Cape Town and go from there.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
So are you going to take me in South African fall?
Megan, you've asked this question every single destination that we are going to talk about on this podcast. If we've never been there, we're going there.
Okay.
At some point.
I can't wait. Can we go for my birthday?
No. Because it's too soon, a lot of money.
All right, my next choice, so number 2 on the list, we're bringing it back to a more traditional fall destination, and I'm taking you to Alaska. We got to spend the month of September there in 2021, 2 falls ago, and it was so beautiful. And this is the thing that anybody local will tell you. We stayed in Anchorage, and then we did all the driving. We drove as far north as we went to Denali National Park, and we even drove up to Fairbanks. And then we went south and we explored Homer and the town of Seward. And I mean, we drove a lot during our time in Alaska, and somebody local would probably back me up. Their fall season is incredibly short. Mm-hmm. When we got there, it was still summer, warmer temperatures. I mean, it kind of felt like fall here in South Carolina. You needed a jacket at night. But in terms of like the trees, everything was still green and beautiful. And then for about 1 week in September, all the leaves changed really fast. And we were like, wow, it was beautiful. We got to see Denali National Park in the fall. We were looking for moose and bears, and it was gorgeous. And everything just feels really remote, really rustic. There are so many hikes to go on, places to explore. I mean, ultimately, the best destination if you love wildlife and you love being outdoors. I mean, it was just awesome. And then all of a sudden, a week later, they got their first snow, which I heard from some people while we were there. It was a little bit early getting the snow that early, but then it like just stayed cold. So it was just hilarious that fall was like just this really short stint of time, and we kind of got to see everything change from green to the fall foliage. And by the time we were leaving, things were covered in snow.
Yeah. So I guess you want to be careful. You want to go that early September.
Right.
It gets fall comes faster there.
Fall comes fast, but I still think that it's such a beautiful place to explore. in the fall months, which, to me, it's like August, September, the beginning of October, because it's a beautiful place. The climate is mild. And I don't know, it's kind of like a bucket list destination for me and so many people, just to be able to go way up north and explore some of what Alaska has to offer.
Yeah. No.
Oh, and not to mention the whales.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we see? We saw beluga whales.
Well, we saw like
them moving in the water. You know, like we didn't see them breach, or we didn't have a conversation with one.
But this was off the highway, y'all.
It was off the highway.
Right,
it was wild.
Right.
Yeah, it was off the highway. It was just kind of like you're driving, and there was a point that was known for whale watching. So you kind of glance over as you're driving.
And we're talking 20 minutes outside of Anchorage.
Yeah, and sure enough, there's like a pod of beluga whales, and people were getting out of their cars, running across the highway to take pictures of them. Tourists, am I right?
And we were those people.
And soon enough, Colin was doing the exact same thing.
And I was like, I can't take it anymore, Megan. I'm pulling over.
But we also saw humpback whales.
We saw, when we went down to Homer just for the weekend. It was a 4-hour drive, but like in Alaska, those drives go by so easily because the whole state, y'all, it just feels like a big national park.
Right.
But then you can also go to Target, and you can have your amenities too. But yeah, we drove down to Homer, and we thought there were no more whales because it was like the tail end of September. And we read online, these people say that whoever those people are, they say that the whales they're gone by then. They're gone off to Hawaii because it's cold. But when we got to the docks and signed up for our tour, we were like, hey, we're just happy if we see some sea otters.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, you don't want to see whales? And I was like, I thought there were no whales. She's like, there are always whales.
She was explaining that the older... Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. The old moms that are like not interested in breeding anymore, they stick around. Right. So we saw a ton of them in the Ketchimak Bay, and it was just glorious.
It was so much fun. But yeah, I would say Alaska may be a little non-traditional in terms of a fall destination. But for me, I think it's a great time to go just because of how beautiful it is in the fall.
Yeah. All right. I'm taking you across the continents again. This time I'm taking you to Munich, Germany. Hey
now.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to say Oktoberfest. I know. It's happening. Plane tickets might be expensive. You might even have to buy this a year in advance. But I kind of want to just go beyond that because, again, this is a family travel podcast. Oktoberfest sounds fun, but, your kids might not and be able to partake and be enjoyed.
Well, they definitely won't be able to partake.
But I would still say, okay, but we're going beyond Munich here. I chose Munich because it's just, the biggest city in the Bavarian Alps. I should rephrase that. I'm taking y'all to the Bavarian Alps of Germany. There's the Swiss Alps, there's the Italian Alps, and those are great too. We've talked about Italy before. Switzerland, that's just a no-brainer. We don't have to talk about that because everybody's just going to go. But may I suggest to you the Bavarian Alps? Okay, so you arrive in Munich. Mm-hmm. You want to go to the Marienplatz. That's their biggest square. That's probably where all the action is. Go during the day. Go have some street food. Have some Bavarian cuisine. Get some giant pretzels.
Some
bratwurst. And do all the things.
Pommes frites.
Some good mustard. And enjoy all the things. And then I had to Google pronounce a couple of things. So I'm going to give it my best.
Okay.
But you can then take a day trip to the Neuschwanstein. It's the Neuschwanstein Castle.
I mean, it looks like a storybook. The castle does. You
can tour the castle. You can also see it from, the view from far away, the famous view. That's about a 2-hour drive. And, you'll be driving through the Bavarian countryside. So it's going to be gorgeous. There's going to be mountains and lakes everywhere. So go easy on that drive. And then... you come back to Munich and, maybe the kids are in bed. One of y'all just go putz around and just take in the city. And then the next day, you can go in the other direction, go on this highway called the Romantic Road. It's literally called the Romantic Road. And then you can go to this other town that is, I feel like it's blowing up social media, but it's pronounced Hotzenberg ob der Tauber.
Rothenburg.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're American, it's Rothenburg ob der Tauber.
Yeah. But it's kind of blowing up because it looks like the quintessential German town.
I mean, it's where Belle gets up in the morning and she walks to the library. I mean, that's what it is.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yep. Walt was like, we're taking Rothenburg ob den Tauber and putting it in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's really beautiful.
It's really beautiful. And I mean, just paint a picture for us, Megan. You grew up in Germany.
Yeah.
Born there, actually.
Born there. Well, that is a statement. I was born there and then moved away and then spent my middle school years living on an army base that happened to be in Germany. So I experienced some culture. I'm not going to discredit that. But I wouldn't say that I'm like the expert. I
mean, you did tell me a couple days ago that the Burger Kings in Germany, especially the ones on the army base, had chocolate Hershey pies on the menu.
Yeah, it was delicious. I have fond memories going there.
If someone can verify that for us.
It's true.
I mean, I want to know if it's still there in 2023.
Oh, I don't know.
But if they're there, then hey, another reason to go to the Bavarian Alps.
Okay, I'll paint the picture. So going in the fall, yes, prices might be a little bit higher because of Oktoberfest, but you're going to be avoiding the summer crowd. Temperatures are going to be way more mild, so you'll actually want to walk around and get 20,000 steps in your day, taking in all the sights. Seeing the Princess Castle would be incredible.
Neuschwanstein.
I actually went there as a kid, and I don't have pictures of it because you know what? We just took a lot less pictures back then.
Neuschwanstein. Sorry to all y'all Germans. I can't pronounce this.
Yeah, they're like so mad at you right now. But it's just a really charming place to visit, and I think that going in the fall would just be icing on the cake. I mean, what a good time to explore and take in all the things. My favorite places to visit and my favorite time of year to visit them involve like romantic, dreamy, idyllic, storybook. Those are my vision board words, right?
Romantic, idyllic, storybook.
I forgot the last one.
Hershey chocolate pie.
and I want to go at night when I can like put on a light sweater. I just hate sweating through my entire vacation. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite
a vacation
thing.
If there's perspiration. Oh!
But
that's going to go on a hoodie.
That's a good one. I'm glad it's on the list.
I'm glad it made it into our podcast.
I'm glad I stuttered through that entire sentence. All right, moving on.
Okay.
Number 4, I'm going to throw in Jackson Hole. Why? This is like a thing, guys. I am a grown adult, and I don't know how to say this state, and I always get it wrong, and then I think I'm going to say it right, and then my husband's looking at me, and I feel the pressure.
All right, I'll look away. Go ahead. Number 4.
I don't know. Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Hey!
Yes! Okay.
What do you used to say?
I used to say Wyoming.
Your brain just omitted the NG at the end?
Yeah, I just thought it was pronounced. I thought the ING was silent, but it doesn't even end with a me.
Wyoming.
I've just pronounced it Jackson Hole, Wyoming for a long time. Anyway, I'm throwing in Jackson Hole because, man, that place is beautiful.
Man.
We scored really cheap flights once from Greenville.
South
Carolina.
Yeah.
Flying into Jackson Hole, which if you don't know anything about that airport, it is bougie and literally right in the middle of the Grand Teton National Park.
It's the airport is in the national park.
Like you get there and you see wildlife and the Tetons are there. You're not commuting from somewhere else to arrive. You get there. It was so bougie and maybe one of the most beautiful takeoff and landings that I've ever seen. That runway was so beautiful.
You're literally landing and taking off from the feet of the Tetons.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But we went there. We actually saw that deal late at night and like peer pressured a bunch of friends. We were like, hey, if you book tickets right now, you can come with us.
We FOMO'd them all the way to Wyoming.
Because it was an incredible deal.
Right.
But that's how we got to see Jackson Hole. And it was so
pretty. Can I talk
pretty.
about that deal a little bit more?
Sure, go for it.
Because it was amazing. It was $180. And our airport, Greenville-Spartanburg, has probably 6 gates. Mm-hmm. So does Jackson Hole.
Right.
And so people normally fly into Bozeman or Big Sky or somewhere in Idaho or Salt Lake City and drive up there. But we got to fly into Jackson Hole thanks to, back then it was known as Scott's Cheap Flights. And so, yeah, we have a link to going. Sign up for an account there.
Right. No pressure. You can do it for free. But we landed in Jackson Hole. It was the month of October, and it was beautiful. I mean, just thinking about, we had landed, we got in the car on our first day. Didn't we see like 3 moose right away that were grazing in the grass within, a few yards of our vehicle?
Oh, man, I hope it was 100 feet. I would not want to be a few yards away from them.
Yeah. Okay. It was close enough that you could like actually see them.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. We explored Grand Teton National Park. We did downtown Jackson Hole, which is a really charming downtown area. They've got lots of restaurants, shops, boutiques, a little courtyard area. What was that coffee shop that we went to that was so good?
There's 2 locations, and it's called Persephone.
Oh,
gosh.
There's a long line at the location in downtown, but the one out of town, we kind of sat right down.
I mean, get your almond croissant at Persephone, and you will be happy forever.
One of our favorite things we did was a hike around Jenny Lake.
Yes.
And that during the fall is reason enough. Well, aside from seeing the Tetons, they I think were my number one thing. They were so beautiful. And then that hike around Jenny Lake, it was fall weather, wearing a light sweater. It just felt like what you want to do in the months of September and October. This is where you want to go. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention that it's right next to Yellowstone National Park.
Right.
And so it would be an easy thing to pair together and just pair this, week or 2 outside exploring the outdoors. Yellowstone is a huge national park. I think sometimes when you're comparing different parks, there are some that it's easy to explore in a few days. Yellowstone is massive. And I would say that you can see the highlights in a few days, but there was so much of the park that we didn't see because there are long lengths of like driving time between the different destinations that when you're looking on Instagram, it looks like they're all right next to each other. They're not. But Yellowstone's beautiful. It's bigger, so you have to definitely, allocate some time to explore.
It's more of that safari feel because you're just in the car and you're just like, the only agenda that day is to be in the car and drive and then hop out whenever you see something beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
There was one moment where we were, somewhere in the park and we heard an elk. That was, what is it called when he makes the sound?
A bugle.
A bugle. So Colin got out with his camera and he was like a safe distance from this elk, but then he kept inching closer and closer.
I was army crawling
to the point where we were like kind of nervous for him, but we couldn't call him back because that might startle the elk. Anyway,
but I was committed because the ranger was like, this is actually the biggest bull we have in this area. And it was like, I don't know, a 10 point, 12, 16 point. I don't know. It was ginormous.
And that ranger was aware that you were going closer. But then when he got nervous, we were like trying to figure out how to get you to come back. He was like,
hey, tell your buddy to come back.
Yeah. Tell him that's close enough.
That's enough.
But yeah, then there are a lot of other, there are bison, there are bears, there are a lot of moose, all kinds of wildlife.
There's even a little pack of wolves that live by the waterfalls.
And then, Old Faithful
Yep.
is a huge...
I will say I have a thing for lodges, historic lodges in national parks, and Yellowstone has probably the oldest. I'm open to be corrected, but I think it's, it's disputable whether or not they or Yosemite is the first national park, but the Old Faithful Inn, think about a grand lodge built in like the 20s. When you walk in, it's like 10 stories tall, the lobby is, and you see these ginormous fireplaces and, historic logs. And when you walk the floorboard, it's just creaking.
It really sets the vibe for a national park vacation.
Gosh, you feel like you're there with Teddy Roosevelt, horseback. And gosh, it's definitely cool. And my friend actually brought his family and stayed a night there, and I'm jealous, and I want to do that too.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. We just got coffee inside. Yeah. Not quite the same as staying overnight.
Yeah.
But I just, we've already went over my standards. I prefer not to sweat a lot on vacation. So going to a national park in the fall like this one, it's the prime weather.
Yes. And we need to do an episode on the best national parks for families.
Yeah, this would be one of them. That's coming. But yep, putting it on your list. Visit Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone National Park in the fall. You won't regret it.
All right. Now we are headed to number 5. It would be remiss if we did not mention our backyard.
Asheville, North Carolina. Well, Asheville and the surrounding area of the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Right. I mean, from our driveway, you can get to the Smoky Mountains pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And gosh, it is one of the best places to experience the fall. And we mentioned New England last week in our episode, so that's why we didn't want to go there. But I would say this is also one of the top destinations. Over 2 million people visit the Smoky Mountains every year, making it the most popular national park. But yeah, I would base yourself in Asheville.
Asheville or Greenville would be a great place to hang out.
Right. I would say no to Gatlinburg because I don't know. Actually, a lot of families do love Gatlinburg. I just, try to stay away from the funnel cake vibe, the boardwalk vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. Because we just love nature. We love nature. We love good coffee shops. We love good restaurants. And you can find a lot of that in Asheville.
Yeah. And let me set the tone for you. You've got the Blue Ridge Parkway. You've got just the most incredible views. You've got a lot of hikes that you can do as a family-friendly hikes. Like, what was the one that you mentioned?
The Craggy Mountain Trailhead.
Yes. Can you say it in a normal accent?
It just sounds Scottish. The Craggies. Just go to the Craggy. If you type in Craggy in Google Maps, Craggy, and you'll see it's not that far from Asheville.
There are also a lot of different apple orchards, which we find to be really fun to take our kids to in the fall. There's one really popular called Justice Orchard. There's one called Jeter Mountain Farms. And basically you show up to these places and you get to, ride on maybe an open truck bed. They take you up to the apple orchards. You get to pick your own apples to take home.
Eat the crunchiest, sweetest apples.
But they also usually, both places have different things for the kids to do while you're there, things to eat. You literally can make apple donuts, apple cider, apple butter,
right?
Apple everything. and it's just one of those iconic things to do in the fall. So why not add it to your vacation, add it to your weekend getaway, and just really embrace all the traditional fall things. We've got a lot of that going on here.
And if you're feeling bougie, head over to the Biltmore State. You can spend a day there, or you can even spend a night there.
At the Biltmore.
Yeah.
I don't know what their fall events would be.
I don't know, but I really want them to bring back the Downton Abbey exhibition.
That would be really fun.
I would cry.
You would cry.
It's probably in my top 5 shows.
And whether you're staying in Asheville or Greenville, they have farmers markets on the weekend. I mean, there's an event in Greenville, which is right in our backyard, called Fall for Greenville. Fall is just, there are events, there are things to do outside, there are places to see, and then of course there are so many beautiful views to take in. If you're just looking for somewhere that has that beautiful fall foliage, then this part of the country needs to be on your list to visit.
I think America in general is just happier in the fall.
Yeah.
We're on our best behavior.
Everybody's happy.
If you guys don't live in the U.S. and you want to visit for the first time, come in the fall.
Well, unless you live in Arizona, I guess you're happy because it's like less hot.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No perspiration.
My sister lives in Arizona, and I was asking her, when it was a good time to visit, and she was like, "Don't come now. It's like 120 degrees."
Right.
Like, that's wild. But yeah, fall in general is a really beautiful time of year to visit the States. And we're really spoiled.
Yeah.
There are so many places to see, like just within our country. I think we take it for granted sometimes.
We sure do. I mean, if our podcasts only entailed things in America, like we wouldn't be short of places to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have a fall destination, whether it's stateside, maybe it's your hometown, maybe it's an international destination that you visited in the fall, or it's on your bucket list to visit, I'd love for you to tell us in the comments or send us a message, because I'm always looking for inspiration for places to go in the fall.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm willing. My ears are open. I want to hear.
I wish we could do some sort of challenge where like people could nominate their best fall destination or their town, and then we just go visit it.
That would be really fun.
That would be like something out of Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah. What the prize is just our presence.
Yeah, Susie from Twin Falls, Idaho says,
We're coming.
We're coming.
We're staying with you, Susie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Let's make that happen.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. Can they pay for it though?
Yeah, Susie definitely has to pay.
Susie, you're paying for it.
She has to figure out how to get us there. She has to feed us, and she has to accommodate us for housing. So
we'll cover the snacks.
yeah, what an award. What a thing to win.
Yeah. All right, folks. That is all we got for this week. Come back next week. Maybe we'll talk about national parks.
That
since
sounds
it
fun.
coincides with the fall. Or maybe not. Who knows? It's a surprise. But nonetheless, do not forget to pack snacks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.